Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a while. I have my excuses ready. First of all, week 1, I'm doing it like an NFL schedule. Week 1, I was sick for a whole week. It was not fun. Week 2, I had to study for midterms. So honestly, I'm sorry, but I would love to say podcast is more important. But, I would get absolutely smited by my parents if I did bad on midterms.
Smited?
More the mother.
I don't even know what that word means.
Destroyed, killed.
No. Fair enough.
And then week 3, it was Christmas and we enjoyed our break, but now we're back and I'm telling you right now, we're not going to be taking another 4-month-long break.
I have no excuses. I was sitting here staring at the microphone with a tear coming down my eye.
Listen, I was...
all 3 weeks, just saying, if I only knew how to run the software, I'd have just done my own podcast.
I was sick and dying. I was dying. I was on the deathbed going, I wish I could make a podcast episode. And then I couldn't.
Now you can.
Well, now I can. So now we're going to be using it to the best of our ability. And a lot happened while we were away. I mean...
I'm not going to lie. I don't even remember what happened.
Well, let's start off in the MLB era. Shohei Ohtani just signed the biggest contract in North American history. $700 million for a very long time. And they also signed, what's his name? The Japan pitcher. Not Shohei Ohtani.
Starts with a Y.
It starts with a Y. I can't say his name. But they also signed him to a $240 million contract. So between those two guys, they spent over $1 billion. So to say the Dodgers are going all in is an understatement.
So a couple things there. You're right. $1 billion. Guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani could never step on the field again for whatever reason and still make $700 million because he signed the contract. But 2, he's only making $2 million a year for like the first 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, so I believe for the first, it might be 10 years. It's a long time. For the first 10 years or so, he's only getting $2 million a year. And then after that time period, he's going to get like $100 million something.
$68 million a year. He'll get the rest of it.
$68 million a year.
So he's going to make $68 million a year for like 10 years after he's done playing.
Yeah.
It very smart on his part because, 1, it allowed the Dodgers to go sign to Yamamoto.
Is it Yamato? Yakamato?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
We'll learn his name if he's truly good.
Him deferring $68 million a year and only taking 2 allowed them to go out and spend more money on that guy. And 2, he's the new Bobby Bonilla. Do you even know who Bobby Bonilla is?
Enlighten me.
Bobby Bonilla was a player, late 80s, into the 90s. Started with the Pirates, went to the Mets. When the Mets signed him as a free agent from the Pirates, they gave him a huge contract and they deferred a lot of it, like they're doing with Shohei. Bobby Bonilla hasn't played in, I should look this up. Bobby Bonilla hasn't played in probably 20, 25 years.
And he's still making money?
He still gets paid like $1.5 million every single year.
Seriously?
And he's got like 10 more years to go.
Wow. Well.
So like every June, I can't remember the day in June. Every year in June, it's Bobby Bonilla Day. Because the Mets have to pay him another $1.5 million.
So he gets $1 million paycheck every
for
June.
Doing absolutely nothing.
That's amazing. Anyway, good job on Shohei Ohtani.
By the way, do you know how much money the Cubs have spent?
None?
That would be a big fat 0.
None.
Goose egg. None. $0.
So, I just started getting into baseball, not too long ago, but I'm already starting to feel the Cubs' depression.
Is Is $1.2 billion a lot more than zero?
About $1.2 billion
Okay.
more.
That's what we're up against.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, at the moment, the Dodgers are World Series favorites, which makes sense. I don't know how you could go against them. But let's head over to some good old college football. So the playoffs are set. I'm not going to lie, I don't know if we talked about it, but we're going to talk about it again. So Michigan is the number one. They're going to play Alabama in the semifinal, and then Washington versus Texas in the semifinal as well. Can we just start off by saying I am so sorry, Florida State. You couldn't have done anything. A 13-0 team you leave out of the playoffs, and I just think that's crazy because the fact is, I understand this is better for TV purposes because they didn't have their starting quarterback, didn't have their starting running back. A lot of their players were injured. Just a rough year for Florida State all around, but you still finished 13-0.
They got jobbed.
You literally can't do anything different. Florida State literally can't do better. Let's look at Texas. Texas could have beaten Oklahoma. Alabama could have beaten Texas. Ohio State, they missed the playoffs. They could have beaten Michigan. And then Georgia could have beaten Alabama in the SEC championship. But Florida State, what's so sad is they literally couldn't do anything. And that is why next year is going to be so big, so huge for the playoffs, because it's going to be a 12 team. And now we won't have this controversial topic of, they shouldn't have been out of the top 4. And now it's going to be, well, they shouldn't have been out of the top 12. But that's just a stupid argument. But
you're right. Florida State got jobbed. There's absolutely nothing else they could have done. Nothing. I don't know how you leave out a 13-0 conference champion. Now look, with their quarterback out, were they going to come in and just get smoked by Michigan or whoever else? Yes. They would not have played well in the playoff likely. So I understand some of the reasoning behind it, but I go back to, we have a perfect example. Ohio State, 2014, third string quarterback, Cardale Jones, baby, led him to a national championship. Third string quarterback. Yeah. So don't say it can't be done. Don't say that that's the sole excuse. They use that They used that as an excuse to put an SEC team in.
Yes.
They were never going to leave out the SEC from the playoffs. And when Alabama beat Georgia, it caused all this controversy. There was no chance they were going to leave the SEC out of the playoffs. And so Florida State, as a result, got hosed and got left out.
So now on New Year's Day, like I said before, Texas will play Washington in the Sugar Bowl. In the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Michigan will play. So, and what I think is absolutely hilarious is on Safari, you go to college football rankings. Guess who's number 4? Take a guess.
Florida State.
Florida State. Guess who's number 5?
Alabama.
Guess who's in the playoffs?
They were not going to leave the SEC out.
It's unbelievable.
They were not going to leave the SEC out. There's no other argument. You can argue Florida State's quarterback is out. You can argue Bama's a better team. You can argue whatever you want. They were not going to leave an SEC team out. Now, Bama, this whole argument could have gone by the wayside if Auburn didn't have the worst defensive play in the history of college football to allow Alabama to come back and beat them.
If Alabama wins the national championship, then we're gonna look back at that Auburn play and go, wow, Auburn literally just let Alabama win the national championship.
Probably.
Yeah.
Michigan's gonna beat them.
No.
Prediction, Michigan.
So yeah, we were about to get to that. Oh. So who do you have in, obviously, Michigan over Alabama? And I'm sadly going to say the same thing too, but who do you have in the Sugar Bowl, Texas or Washington?
I think that's going to be a good game. I think Washington, man, if Michael Penix can play like he's played all year, I don't think Texas can stop him. I think Washington wins that game like 41-38, something crazy like that. I don't think either one of those teams offensively can be stopped. I think Washington wins it at the end.
I honestly agree. I think that Michael Penix, obviously a Heisman candidate, and he was great all year. I think that if he truly comes to play, they will not destroy Texas. I think it'll be a great game, but they'll have a good shot of beating Texas. And in the national championship, we both have Michigan and Washington. And so, who do you think wins that one?
I'll share that next podcast.
Honestly, yeah, that's a good decision.
Assuming we have a podcast.
Well, we will 100% of the time. Yes. So now, the NFL. Let's head over to the NFL. A lot happened.
Man, NFL's getting interesting.
It's getting very interesting to show you the standings at the moment. In the AFC, we have the Ravens at the 1. They have secured a playoff spot. Dolphins at the 2. They have secured a playoff spot. The Browns at the 3. They play the Jets this week, and if they beat the Jets, they secure a playoff spot. So, I'm just going to say it now. They probably secured a playoff spot. I think they beat the Jets. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. You have the Chiefs at the 4, and then the Jags at the 5. This isn't playoffs, by the way. This is just standings in the NFL at the moment. But it's very interesting at the moment because let's look at the AFC South. 3 of those teams are 8-7. The Jaguars had the opportunity to run away with the division, and they have been awful the past couple of weeks. Just terrible. So the Texans, they have a hard game this week. The Colts.
But CJ Stroud's back.
CJ Stroud is finally back, and they don't have to start Case Keenum. But he beat the Titans, so I don't know.
It's interesting. You know who else is a train wreck? The Kansas City Chiefs. Absolute train wreck right now. Whining and crying about offsides, which was a complete and total offsides on Tony. Wide receivers can't catch a pass. Got the Swifties all angry now. Patrick Mahomes is not playing like Patrick Mahomes.
Travis Kelce is having his worst year of his career.
They're in trouble. Right now, the Bills are projected to play Kansas City in the first round. The Bills are going to beat them. The way the Bills are on fire right now.
I don't know about on fire. They barely just beat the Chargers with Easton Stick.
Look, man.
Hey, a win is a win now, so.
Chargers have some great coaching. That's a big win on the Bills' part.
That's a funny one. Yeah. I don't even know their head coach. He's their head coach now. Since they fired Brandon Staley, finally, thank you, Chargers. Love you.
Which is why that game was so close. Because
I wonder, what would that game have been like if they had Brandon Staley still?
It would have been a rout.
Yeah.
By the Bills.
Yeah.
The AFC is interesting.
The NFC is very interesting.
The NFC is also
because
interesting.
let's talk about the Eagles real quick.
Crashing and burning too.
They're crashing and burning because the thing is, they were 10-1, then they went to 10-3, then they lost 4 in a row, went to 10-4, then they finally, barely, in a controversial game again, because every Eagles game is controversial. In a controversial game, they beat the Giants to go 11-4, and now they have the 2 seed with the 49ers at the 1. The 49ers, who just played the Ravens, got shown that they are not that good. Their defense was absolutely torn up by Lamar Jackson. Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. We have said all year.
Can we stop talking about Brock Purdy winning the MVP, please?
It's
gross.
Okay.
Gross.
Can we also stop talking about Lamar Jackson winning the MVP? Listen, I get it. He's won 12 games and 3 wins. Or 3 losses. I don't like to talk about stats. But a guy like Christian McCaffrey is having a great season. A guy like Tyreek Hill, sure he was out for a game, is having a great season. I think one of those two shouldn't just be Offensive Player of the Year. They have to be the MVP. Because here's the thing. No quarterback is doing good this year.
Whoa.
No quarterback.
Whoa.
No quarterback is doing good. Mahomes has been bad. Allen has been bad. Purdy has shown he's not that great. Dak Prescott, who was the MVP candidate, just had a terrible game.
You're overlooking a guy.
Are you going to say Baker Mayfield? If you say Baker Mayfield.
Good quarterback and Baker Mayfield are not in my vocabulary.
That's why I was going to yell at you.
No.
But
No.
I truly think if one quarterback was to win the MVP, it would either be Tua
Nope.
or Joe Flacco.
That's who you're missing. Joe Flacco, baby.
Joe Flacco has been just immaculate recently. I mean,
what? This just shows you the talent level in the NFL and how you can be at the top of your game or you could be like the worst quarterback in the league and it's pretty much equal. Joe stinking Flacco, 38 years old, sitting on his couch, couldn't find a job, has come in and is on fire right now.
I think it's
Fire.
So they, like I said before, they played the Jets this week. I think it would be absolutely hilarious because remember, the Jets turned Flacco down. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if Flacco wins this game and sends the Browns to the playoffs and just goes, yeah, you should have signed me, buddy.
He's going to crash and burn at some point.
Well, I don't know. If he sends them to the playoffs, it would be the greatest storyline of all time.
I don't know about all time.
All time. I was getting to the point here. Imagine Browns in the AFC Championship up against the Ravens, the former team of Joe Flacco, who he won a Super Bowl with. Joe Flacco defeats them, and then the Lions versus the Rams in the NFC Championship. The Lions beat the Rams.
That's a great story.
No.
It's not going to happen.
And then we have a Lions and Browns Super Bowl.
It's a great story, but it's not going to happen.
I wish. I really...
Like, are we even going to bother to do picks at this point?
Well, it's we're a little behind, but it's just for fun. So, why not? Anyway, also, congratulations to the Dolphins for winning a game, beating a team over 500. It took you only a year and a half, but you did it. Good for you. And you also, we were having this talk earlier. When was the last time the Miami Dolphins clinched the playoffs 2 years in a row?
I can't think of it.
I don't know. So it's been a long time, and that just shows you Tua is the greatest Dolphins quarterback of all time.
I'm sorry.
In the past 20 years.
Did podcast over? Podcast over.
No.
Over.
No. We're doing picks.
I'm looking 2000 and 2001. Actually,
who was the quarterback?
they made it 97, 98, which would have been Marino. 99 would have been Marino. 2000. Is that like Heward? Looking. This is great. This is a great podcast here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay Fiedler.
You led him to the playoffs?
Well, yeah, in 2000 and 2001. So they made it like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years in a row. Jay Fiedler the last two.
And, well, Tua leads him to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Actually, you know what? He didn't lead him to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Skylar Thompson did. 1 year. Last year he did. He beat the Jets. Remember that game? 9-3 victory.
Do you remember the next week in the playoffs against the Bills?
Hey, he didn't play terrible.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Kept him in that game.
Oh
But
my God, it was awful.
I'm just going to say, if Tua was there, they would have won. But he wasn't. So that's all in the past. But let's talk about future picks.
Okay.
Thursday night football, Jets versus Browns. Give me the Browns. Joe Flacco is the greatest quarterback of all time. No discussion needed.
Browns get in the playoffs with a win over Trevor Siemian.
This next game should be a great one. And that is why it is not the game of the week. Because there's a better one. Lions versus Cowboys. This was a candidate for game of the week, obviously, because it's two of the top teams in the NFC. And I don't know. I think that it's, the Cowboys need a win.
This is an easy one.
They need a win. But they're not going to get it here. Give me Dan Campbell.
I love me some Dan Campbell. But Dallas is going to rout the Dan Campbells. Dallas big at home.
Also, yeah, I just realized that it's a home game and Dallas still hasn't lost at home. But that's okay. I'm going against the odds. Titans versus Texans.
That's what happens when you don't do research.
I have it up on my phone right here.
That's what happens when you don't
All
read.
right. Titans versus Texans. At Houston. I knew that one. So at Houston, Stroud is back after being concussed for a while. And I think, you know what? Texans need a win. Titans already eliminated from the playoffs. Titans want to cause some mayhem. And but I think the Texans really, really want to win. Especially after their great start to the year. I don't think that they can crash and burn now. So I'm going to take the Texans and the CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's back. Give me the Texans.
Falcons versus Bears. This is the worst of the week.
What? How is this the worst of the week?
What do you mean, how is this the worst of the week? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I don't even know what else is on the schedule. If you say it's the worst of the week, but can't Atlanta win their division? So how can a team fighting for a division lead be the worst of the week? I don't understand.
Because it's Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Who you taking?
The Bears.
No, the Falcons.
You're going against Justin Fields, really?
Yep.
Now you're going against Fields?
Hey, they're fighting for draft pick.
Hey, the Bears are still in it.
No, Falcons.
And now to the game of the week. The two top teams in the AFC. We have the Dolphins at Baltimore. And now, obviously this has big playoff implications. If the Dolphins are to win this game, they clinch their division for the first time in many, many, many years. And if the Ravens are to win this game, they clinch the number 1 seed. So big time game this week. It's at Baltimore. We know what happened last year, but it's not last year. It's a new Ravens team. So will the Dolphins upset the number 1 seed? What's your pick?
Ravens by 2 scores.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Jalen Waddle was out this game. We saw how big he was last week in the Cowboys game. Tyreek Hill is still apparently injured just a bit. I think this is going to be a rough game for the Dolphins. I think Lamar Jackson is just going to blow up the Dolphins defense. So, sadly, give me the Ravens. And then the Saints and Buccaneers. Buccaneers trying to get both teams fighting for the number 1 in their division, which pretty much means they're fighting for a playoff spot. So this is a big game. I'm going against Derek Carr because I hate that man at the moment. And so give me the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield.
You hate Derek Carr. You're back off the Derek Carr bandwagon.
I was never on the...
So after 3 weeks of no podcast, you being sick, delusional, you're back off the Derek Carr bandwagon.
So are you going on the Derek Carr bandwagon?
Only out of spite for Baker Mayfield.
Alrighty. Patriots and Bills. If the Bills were to lose this game, the Dolphins win the division. So I'm going the Patriots just because I want an upset.
Patriots by 30.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're playing well.
I don't.
And Billy Zappi is not good.
You said Patriots by 30. Do you mean Bills by 30?
Oh, did I say Patriots?
Yeah, you said Patriots.
Bills by 30.
All right, there you go.
If you gave me the line of plus 28.5 for the Patriots, I don't think I would take it.
Seriously.
Probably not.
All right. Cardinals and Eagles at Philadelphia. The Eagles. I don't think Kyler Murray has it in him to upset the.
Now the Cardinals are
2
going for the
seed.
number 1 pick.
Yeah, they're going.
Eagles.
They're tanking. Jags and Panthers. If this is a time for the Jags to win, they need it now, and it's against the worst team in the NFL. So give me the Jags.
I still don't like Trevor Lawrence's health right now, but the Panthers are awful. Jaguars at home.
Raiders and Colts. 2 teams still fighting for playoffs. Colts obviously in the division of the Jags and Texans, all 8-7. Colts need a win here. Raiders need a win here if they still want to fight for the playoffs. But give me Antonio Pierce.
There's some magic going on in Vegas right now with Antonio Pierce.
That guy is awesome.
I'm staying on that bandwagon too. Give me the Raiders.
Rams and Giants. Give me the Rams. The Giants are they're out now. They're
Your boy got benched.
Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, he's gone forever.
That didn't last very long. No, he was the greatest quarterback of all time for a week and a half.
His Linsanity run is over. So, yeah, give me the Rams.
Rams are playing well. Rams big.
49ers and Commanders. I need the biggest game from Christian McCaffrey if I want to win my fantasy championship this week. So, give me the 49ers.
49ers, McCaffrey might play a quarter.
Yeah. Steelers and Seahawks. Again, both teams fighting for the playoffs. See, this is why I love the end of the year. We have so many games that teams are fighting, and they're playing each other. So it's big games. Give me the Seahawks, though.
No faith in Mason Rudolph?
Dude, are you kidding me? Let me show you a stat real quick. So, your start, and I'm referring to Kenny Pickett. I love you, Mason Rudolph. You shined your nose bright on Christmas Eve to lead your team to a win. But
that cost me a lot of money, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Can we talk about how Kenny Pickett is the worst draft pick we've ever seen? Besides Trey Lance.
Wait a minute. Take about 17 steps back. Mac Jones? Did we forget about Mac Jones?
Has Mac Jones thrown more than 13 touchdowns this year? And has Mac Jones thrown more than 13 touchdowns in his career?
I don't think so.
I think he has.
Probably. He's bad.
But then if we look at Kenny Pickett, he's thrown 13 touchdowns in his career.
Would you rather have Kenny Pickett or Mac Jones?
That's like asking for...
Which one?
No.
No, pick one. You're going to say Kenny Pickett, which then I'm going to come back to you and say then he can't be the worst draft pick of all time.
Then fine, I'm going to say Mac Jones.
Argument 1.
All right. Well, he might not be the worst draft pick.
I have no faith in Mason Rudolph. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Anyway, back to my stat. Yeah, I'm going to the Seahawks. Back to my stat. Kenny Pickett has thrown 13 touchdowns in his career. Do you know who also has thrown 13 touchdowns this year? Joe Flacco. Only in December. So in the time Kenny Pickett has taken to throw 13 touchdowns, it's taken Joe Flacco 1 month.
Well, Kenny Pickett's been hurt like the last month.
He still sucks. You can't deny that.
Would you rather have the combination of Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, or Mac Jones and Billy Zappi?
I trust Mason Rudolph there.
Wow.
So, give me the Steelers. But, Bengals and Chiefs, AFC Championship rematch from last year. Give me the Chiefs because they need a win.
Whew, they need a win, and they're playing bad. They're due.
Yeah.
They're due at home.
See, I said Mahomes was going to have a great week last week. Nah, this is the good week.
I'm mad at the Bengals right now, so I'm going with Chiefs big.
Chargers and Broncos.
This should be your worst of the week. Russell Wilson, benched, probably going to cut him
I forgot
in the
about
offseason. Yeah, this is your worst of the week. Man, am I going to have to start like writing the show for you?
You can if you want.
Dude, I don't know. Give me the Broncos.
The
at
Chargers.
Home. Give me the Broncos.
The Chargers.
You just need Keenan Allen to score like 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, can Easton Stick? Can you just give Keenan Allen the ball the whole game? Doesn't matter if you throw 5 interceptions. Just give Keenan Allen the ball the whole game. Anyway, this could also be the worst of the week. You got Jordan Love and who's the Vikings quarterback?
I don't even know at this point.
I forgot his name. Anyway, he sucks. So give me the Packers.
Well, because they benched, what's his name?
Josh Dobbs. His Linsanity run ended quickly, too.
I'm going with the Packers because I can't name the Vikings quarterback.
All right. There's no Monday Night Football game.
I'm looking. I don't even know who it is.
There is no Monday Night Football game.
No.
What do you?
Nick Mullins got benched. No, he got benched.
Oh, he got benched?
I thought so.
So, who is it?
Jaren Hall.
Never heard that man's name in my life.
Yeah, you have. He played at BYU.
Oh, okay.
He's fantastic. Jaren Hall.
Is he like Zach Wilson by any chance?
They
both played at BYU.
He's gonna be bad.
All right. And to end the podcast off, I've got a quiz for you.
Okay.
So it's 4th and 10.
Okay.
Or sorry, how about this one? It's 4th and goal on the 10.
Okay.
It's a 14-7 score. You have the lead, so you have 14. The opponent has 7.
Okay.
You can A, go for it.
There's only one option here, but continue.
A, go for it.
Uh-huh.
Or B, kick the field goal.
Uh-huh.
What do you do as an NFL coach?
So how much time is left again?
It's any time. It could be the first quarter or the end of the game.
I'm gonna kick that.
Thank you, because I've seen.
Where are you going with this?
No, because I've seen coaches in the past couple weeks. It's been that exact same situation, and do you know what they do? They'll decide to go for it, and I don't understand because you take a 2-possession lead instead of a 1-possession lead, and if you get it, you also take a 2-possession lead. But if you don't get it, then what are you doing?
I think the guy that always used to do that got fired by the Chargers.
Yeah, he did.
He was notorious for that. Analytics, bro.
Is Kevin Stefanski up next? Because he's been doing that a lot recently.
Analytics. Everyone loves analytics. The one that drives me even crazier is when they're down 14 and they score a late touchdown and they all decide to go for 2. I don't understand. Why don't you kick the extra point and you're down 7? No, they go for 2 and they're down 8. It makes no sense. I see that all the time.
Why can't we just be NFL coaches? I bet you there's a Joe Schmo out there better than any NFL coach.
You can't be an NFL coach because you couldn't drive yourself to the facility.
Well, when I'm of the age, I will.
I don't know why I can't be an NFL coach. I think I could be.
Well,
maybe this podcast will.
Hey, we've got
promote his
coaching
my coaching skills and abilities, and somebody out there will give me a chance.
All right. Anyway, that's going to be it for the podcast. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and we will see you in the first episode of 2024.